everyone, this is Biophoenix here, and this is already the 50th episode. Can you believe that I've already done 50 episodes? I mean, I'm pretty surprised myself, because I honestly didn't think I was actually going to get that far. But either way, it's a work in progress. So, what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to take a look at something that I've already looked at before. No, we're not rehashing anything here, but just a little bit of a recap. So in case anyone doesn't remember, does anyone remember Tecmo's Deception? Yeah, remember when I did the Deception series and I did it on this one? Well, actually I did all of them, but this is the one that we started out with because, well, it's the first entry and, well, I still think it's a kick-ass game. And then you have Kagero Deception 2, which I still think it's a really good one. I don't know which one I like better, even though I gave this one a 9 and I gave this one an 8, but I mean, hey, they're both awesome, so whether which one you go, even though it does change up things a bit. And then there's number 3. And this one, I did not like this one as much, but I still think it's a really good one. I mean, yeah, I do like the trap creating thing, but I think everything else about it, I mean, it's good, but it doesn't really, like, impress me as much as the first two did, but I don't know, I still think it's a good one. And then, finally, there was Trapped on the PS2. And this one was really good, although I think I was a bit generous with this one. I gave it like a 9. I think I should have given it like an 8. So we'll just correct that. But seriously though, this one is still really good. I had a lot of fun with it. And that was all the games that I took a look at in episode 11. And remember when I said that, like, in the video that there would never be like another Deception game because the PS4 was coming out? So yes, so now, wait a minute, what the fuck is back there? Deception 4 Blood Ties. Wait a minute, Deception 4? You mean this is the 5th installment, they called it number 4? So seriously, it's the 5th game in the series and they called it number 4. I really have no idea what the fuck they were thinking, but at least we got a blue nice label on it. It's also interesting to know that this is the first PS3 game that happened to have a blue label. Not that that really matters or anything, but you know, it's just interesting. So without further ado, let's go check out this game and go into the game room and go play this motherfucker. So as you may already know, this game is developed and published by Tecmo Koei, and released in the year 2014. Yeah, only last year, unless you're watching this video from like 50 years from now. And this is the first time that a Deception series game went onto a portable platform, known as the PlayStation Vita. Unless you want to count some random Japanese-only game that's on mobile phones, but I mean, other than that, then yeah, it's the first time that the Deception series is on a portable device. So let's begin with the story of this game. And you play as a character, Lagrina, I think that's how you pronounce it, and she is the Devil's daughter. Now that's pretty different. Normally in these kinds of games, you're usually like a regular person who happens to be stuck in a shitty situation, but in this game, you are pretty much the reason why there's shitty situations. Now that is fucking badass right there. But 3,000 years ago, the devil was killed by 12 saints. And no, it's not the Saints Row gang. But the saints sealed him with a holy vessel, and the holy vessel has been carried down for generations from these 12 saints originally. So now Lagrina has to go find these 12 vessels, which are now owned by the descendants of the original saints. But you have 3 people helping you, or should I say supporting you, so some of these names I may fuck up on, but I'll try my best to say them. So there's Celia, Veruza, and then finally there's Lilia, which is probably the easiest one to say, but she kind of reminds me of Strength from the Black Rock Shooter anime, just a little bit. So they're trying to help you out with finding all the 12 vessels, and you know what that means? It's murdering time. And that's all I really have to say about the story. Yeah, it isn't really like the most mind-blowing thing ever, but you know what? For what it is, it's okay. At least it's not as ridiculous as it was in the 3rd game. But it's a pretty simple story, and you know what? It's okay. So you are stuck in a castle in this one, but the thing that does make this one very interesting is that not only are you also stuck in a castle, but you can also get stuck in a factory, an amusement park, which is pretty insane, and finally the ruins. So at least they do have some pretty cool set pieces. And you're always being invaded by a lot of people, so of course, you gotta kill them all. You gotta kill them all? Wait a minute, that almost sounds like the Pokemon slogan, but instead of gotta catch them all, it's gotta kill them all, gotta kill them all! Or it could be referencing the Metallica album. Either way, pretty amusing. So of course, you're still trapping motherfuckers, which is all great. But they did make something very interesting with this one, where you can actually have as much trap as you want in one room. Well, up to 7, but still. 7 is still a lot for me. Because before you were only able to have 3, and there was only 1 of each kind. But in this, you can have 7, and you can have as much floor traps, wall traps, and ceiling traps. And I remember saying that it would get pretty clusterfucky if you had more than one, like, trap in a room. But in this game, they managed to figure out a way how to do that. And well, I think the way they done it here works pretty well. You can scroll through the traps with R2 or L2, and it works for getting a lot of crazy combos. Like, just for an example, look at this shit. I mean, man, Antonio must be having a really bad day right now. And now these traps have another new type to them, which are indicated with different colors, such as Elaborate type traps are blue, Sadistic are red, and Humiliation is yellow. What these mean is that it gets you different rewards for each of the servants. Also, some of the traps around the environment have this too. And you can get demon requests, and what these do is that when you do them, you actually get more points, or EXP is what they call them. It just adds more bonus points for doing them, but it makes it kind of fun sometimes. And speaking of environment traps, there are new things that you can do. Instead of being called a dark illusion like they were called in Trapped, they are called trapmobiles. Almost sounds like a Batmobile, but a trapmobile. And next thing you know, there might be a trap cave. Just kidding. All the trapmobiles do is that when you actually successfully do them, you get a pretty epic death scene. And I do like some of the variety of traps that you can use in this game. Some of them are like pretty awesome looking, some of them are just, you know, kind of whatever looking, but they're pretty helpful. And then there are just some that are just plain out hilarious. And now, for the first time in a Deception game, you can get abilities. The ones I really like to use are the roll ability, because it's easier to dodge, and the healing ability, which fully recovers your health, but you can only use it 3 times. But there are other abilities such as like making the enemy like stunned for a couple seconds, or making the enemies angry, or run extra fast for a couple seconds. Either way though, it's pretty useful, but you can only have 2 at a time. So in case you don't want to do the story mode anymore, you can also do mission mode, which requires you to do a random mission to do exactly what it says. Pretty self-explanatory, but you can unlock some things for doing them all. I know there's a lot of other costumes you can get in the game, but the only one I ever unlocked was Millennia's outfit from Kagero Deception 2. But I know you can get a costume of Reina and Allura, and if I remember right, I think you can even get a costume of Tottori from the Atelier series. Yeah, I know I fucked that one up because I don't speak French. But in case you're looking at the screen right now, then you know what the fuck I'm talking about. And something else that's very mission orientated is cross quest mode. Pretty much you have to make up your own rules for a quest. Like what enemies are going to be there, what setting you're going to use, and all that good stuff. And you can download them off other players, or people you can download them off of you. There's even a YouTube uploader, which is kind of cool, and you can even make your own replays. Now, it may not be like the most creative thing ever, but it's at least kind of cool that you can just share with your friends with like a mission that you made, and maybe you can try to make like a mission that's like almost impossible to do. Yeah, just imagine having like 3 bosses that are like a pain in the ass inside a really tiny room. And speaking of pain in the ass, this game can be pretty hard sometimes. Yeah, there's some enemies in this game that can be such a pain in the dick, especially the ones that use range attacks. Just fuck those people. Now, this game isn't like impossibly hard or anything like that, but it can be pretty challenging sometimes, especially if you're trying to be creative with trying to do some unique combos. And finally, they added a free battle mode, which is great, because that's something I always wanted to have inside a Deception game. I mean, the closest thing you can get was in the first game with the body collecting section, or trap survival mode, but the thing I didn't like about that was that it had a really annoying time limit. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about all like the basic gameplay elements and whatnot. So now, let's move on to controls, and man, it's about time I got to them eventually. And I think the controls are pretty good. I mean, I have no complaints whatsoever. I mean, walking is fun, the button layout is very easy to figure out. Although the camera angles can be a little bit annoying at times, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's definitely not nearly as bad as the camera angles in Sonic 2006. Ugh. But other than that, I really don't have any complaints. I have heard that some people said that it was kind of clunky, but now I don't know what they mean by that, but oh well. I never had any issues, and maybe it's just because of the fact that I've been playing these kinds of games for so long that I'm kind of used to it. But either way, I personally don't have any complaints whatsoever, except for the little tiny camera control issue, but like I said, it's not that bad. And as for the game's graphics, I do think they actually look pretty good. I think like the dark elements to it actually suit it quite well. And even the anime cutscene at the beginning looks really damn cool. In fact, maybe they should turn this into an anime possibly. Nah, I don't know. I don't know if something like this would work for an anime. But I will appreciate that it does look really nice. And speaking of the cutscenes, a lot of the cutscenes are done with like, you know, this visual novel style kind of thing, which I don't mind, but however, compared to all the other game series within Deception, they always had like the characters like standing around in like a neat set piece or setting and whatnot, and I think that looked really cool like that because you get to know what other environments in the world of Deception is going on. But here, it's not really like that, but oh well. Like I said, it's not a huge complaint, but it is something that would have been nice if they still kept. But as I said for the gameplay graphics, I do think they look good the way they are, but I really do find that carnival level is really creepy. Especially the fact that it's supposed to be happy, but at the same time it's like really dark. But it just makes it look cooler. But either way though, I really do like the graphics the way they are. And as for the music in this game, well, I've already explained that I really love the OST within all the Deception games. And this one absolutely does not disappoint. Not only do I love the way how it sounds, but it also suits the levels quite well. And about that carnival level being creepy, I do find the music in that one is very suiting for that. And something that really surprised me with this was that in the factory level, one of the song pieces had electric guitars in it. It reminded me of a song from Dynasty Warriors, and well, as you know me, I think that's badass as hell. But yes, the music, I really like it a whole lot, and hopefully someone can upload some more songs of it from YouTube. Or if it's possible that there's an OST floating around somewhere. But seriously, the music in this game is great. Now, if you want to buy this game, well, this game is still pretty recent. I mean, it's only last year from now. So it's kind of hard to make an exact price point on this, but I really don't think you should have any issues finding it. I mean, it was released worldwide, which is great. And you can get it for the PlayStation Vita and the PlayStation 3, which is, well, makes things a bit easier. So as far as I can tell for right now, this game you shouldn't have any problems looking for it. Although apparently the third Deception game is getting up there in price. And as for the game's voice acting, it's all in Japanese and I really don't have an issue with it because I don't speak the language, so therefore I can't judge the quality, but I can at least say it never got irritating. Although maybe Lilia's voice is kind of annoying, but then again she is kind of a psycho tsundere kind of girl. But other than that, I have no complaints. Now, if I were to rate this game, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I think the game does do a really good improvement of an overall series, but I think an 8 is just good as it is. I had a lot of fun playing this game. Just making up the combos and combinations of different traps was really fun, using all like the environments was really cool. And almost every time that I pick up this game and then I play it for a while, then take a big break and then go back into it again, I always end up finding something really cool with the combinations. But because I am a huge fan of this series, I'm not trying to be like a fanboy here and say that everything in this game is just like the best thing I've ever played in my life. No, of course not. I mean, if that were the case, I would have given this game a 10 out of 10 just for that. But no, I'm actually trying to be not biased here. But I do like the uniqueness of this series, and not only that, but I do find this game to be pretty creative. And that's what I like, is that we need more creative games within this generation. So if you're watching this video and you've never heard of this series, or maybe you know like a little bit about it, but you just never played any of them, well, I can tell you one thing, is that if you're looking for something that's really different and very unique, and just want to explore and try something new, well, I can recommend this to you if you are looking for that. And because this is the 4th game, technically 5th, quote unquote, you can play any of them in any order. It doesn't really matter which one you play first, but just so you know, I do enjoy all of them for their own different reasons. Now, before I end this thing here, there's actually something else that's coming up, and that is an expansion pack. Yeah, an expansion pack, you know, the things that PC games used to have. So the new expansion pack is called Deception 4: The Nightmare Princess. I just want to talk a little bit about it because when the hell else am I ever going to do a review on an expansion pack? But just so you know, this game is coming out for the PS3, PS Vita, and even the PS4. Yeah, Deception is going next gen. So what this expansion pack does is that it just adds new game modes, new characters, new traps, and all that good stuff. And a new story, I believe. So that's kind of cool that this game is going to be getting an expansion pack. I mean, that's something I never would have thought of when I was a kid. So that is definitely one thing that is interesting me of getting a PS4 right now. But either way though, I'm pretty happy with just having Blood Ties for now. So if you ask me personally, I think it's a pretty good game. So that's Deception 4 Blood Ties for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and comment.
Oh my god! You killed Kenny! You bastard!